Hi, I'm Karen Pearson, a careers consultant here at Newcastle University, and I'm going to guide you through this short masterclass to help you prepare and succeed at interviews. Interviews can be a daunting process, so we aim to help you to understand how to prepare for an interview, learn how to approach different questions, and finally, we'll be looking at the practicalities of attending an interview. Let's start with preparation. If you've been invited to an interview, you already have convinced the employer that you meet the basic requirements for the position. You now have the chance to demonstrate to the selectors 3 things that they want to know. That you can do the job, you have the necessary knowledge, skills and potential. That you want to do the job, you have the motivation, enthusiasm and interest. And that you'll be a good fit, you'll work effectively with others, colleagues, clients and stakeholders. So, you need to prepare, to do some research. You need to be clear about what the position on the area of work involves. Use the job advert, person specification or job description to work out what skills they're looking for. You're likely to be asked about these in an interview. Secondly, you need to research as much as you can about the organisation. Be clear about what they do and the details of their products and services. Read recent press coverage. Find out what you can about the company culture. Finally, don't forget to get a handle on the bigger picture, what's happening in their sector. Keep up to date with current affairs, trends and important topics. What are the challenges facing the industry and what impact might they have? It's important to use reliable sources, so use the link provided on this slide, which takes you to our website for help and suggestions. Most interview questions are based around can, want and fit, so good preparation is a good idea. We'll move on now to think about how you answer questions about skills or competencies. Competency questions are very common. They're designed to assess your level of skill against a set of pre-planned criteria, the skills required for the role, and they work on the principle that past behaviour is the best indicator of future performance. They're easy to spot, as the slide indicates. The recommended structure for successfully answering a competency question is the STAR structure, so let's have a look at that. STAR is an acronym for the commonly used structure of an answer to a competency question. As you can see, it stands for situation, task, action and results / reflection. In terms of describing the situation, you should briefly provide some context to help the employer understand the example you're giving, but you don't need to go into a lot of detail. You go on to explain the task, give a concise overview of what's going on, ensuring that the example is relevant to the question. The biggest part of the answer is you describing and analysing your actions. Say what action you took, focus on your contribution, explain what, why and how you did it. Avoid the term we if talking about a situation in a team. It's your contribution that the interviewer is interested in. Finally, explain the result. What was the outcome? What did you learn from this example? Remember, it's not just what you did, but how you did it. And at the end, you may wish to reflect. What might you do differently next time? We move on now to the want element of the can, want, fit. It's a given that interviewers always look for enthusiasm for and interest in the role. If they don't think that you really want it, why would they offer it to you? The research you've done on the role is really important here, and again the level of detail you use when answering is key. Just saying you've always wanted to work in marketing, for example, is not enough. You need to be prepared to explain this. Want questions can often be the first question you're asked during an interview. Employers want to know why you want to do the job, your career goals, how this position fits into your plan. They want to make sure that you're sincerely interested in the job and will be motivated to perform if hired. A common mistake that candidates make is that they often talk about what they can gain rather than what they can bring to the role. So, for example, these are the kinds of things that you might want to avoid. Think about what you can offer the employer and let them know that. Okay, we've covered can and want. Let's finish off with fit. Think back to the point we made about research earlier in this presentation. Here are some ideas to help you increase your knowledge of the company. Remember also to use the link to the section of our website on slide 2 that suggests resources for researching employers. One big thing is actually that employers will also be assessing your commercial awareness. This is also known as business acumen. They consistently pinpoint a lack of this as a weakness in graduate interview candidates. So by commercial awareness, we mean commercial understanding, having a big picture focus, being business-minded. Use the link in our tip to find out more. This is more the wider sector than just the company itself. All of this kind of knowledge is really helpful when you go into an interview. What other kinds of questions might you be asked? This is a type of question deliberately designed to be answered on the spot. Strength-based questions are intended to discover the real you, and they're quite popular with graduate employers. Trying to guess what they want to hear is likely to backfire. So our suggestion would be, don't panic. Ask for a minute to think if you're not sure about what you want to say. Try to use examples that relate to the job role. So you might be tempted to say that you've had a good day shopping and having a pizza out with your friends, but perhaps it might be better to say that you've had a good day when you feel you really accomplished something difficult or completed everything you had on your to-do list for that day. And then you can go on to give an example of when this happened using STAR. Questions that are based on a negative can often be the biggest concern if you're preparing for an interview. The key is not to think of them as a weakness or failure questions, but rather as a development or improvement question. They're often asked to assess your ability to self-reflect, a skill that's highly sought after by graduate employers. Look at our two sample answers. Who would you offer the job to? Interviews, even though it may not always feel like it, are a two-way process, and this is your turn to ask the questions. So the answer is definitely yes. Employers will always give you this opportunity at the end of an interview, so make the most of it. They really like you to ask questions. It tells them that you've done your research about the company and evidences your interest, commitment and motivation. So always prepare some in advance and make sure that you're not asking questions that are already answered, for example, on their website. It's okay to use a more personal approach here as indicated in the red box, or you could ask the interviewer, why do you like working here? Finally, don't let all your hard work, all the research and preparing of interview questions be undermined by a neglect of practical details. We are anticipating that many more interviews than ever before will be conducted remotely, so be ready to choose a tidy, quiet location for your interview, double-checking the date, time and interviewer's name, and make sure you can operate all the tech required. This is the equivalent of knowing exactly where you're going, planning your journey and arriving on time, but always having relevant contact details with you in case you're delayed if you're having a live interview. Dress codes work in the same way regardless. Plan your clothing choices the night before, making sure they're in line with the dress code provided. And if you're in doubt, be more formal, not less. It's great to have a pen and notepad handy wherever you're being interviewed. But if you're attending in person, remember to take any documents or other items, for example a face covering, that the employer's requested with you. You might also want to take your research documents and CV along so you can read them over while you wait. But if your interview is remote, don't be tempted to pin them all up on the wall so you can read them. You need to maintain as much eye contact as you can. And even though you might not think it, it is always obvious when people are reading. Succeeding interview requires you to demonstrate your enthusiasm, motivation, curiosity and willingness to learn. Employers need to feel that they would like to work with you, so be looking for a friendly, can-do attitude. All of this requires research and practice. So your next steps now are to read the guidance on our website. There are many more examples of questions, hints and tips. And once you do have an interview date, contact us and arrange a one-to-one interview coaching session. If you have any other questions at all, do contact us through My Career. So it's good luck from me with all your interviews, and I'll play you out with this video which shows you how to access and tells you all about our 2 video interview simulators.